Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Horror Daddies Podcast channel.
A podcast where we talk about horror movies.
And the monsters in them. I am one of your hosts, the Frankenstein monster.
And I am your other host, the Bride of Frankenstein.
My lady.
Bitch, you looking like a hot ass mess.
I know. That's what happens when you gotta make up a costume in 5 seconds.
Everyone in that's listening, y'all should go on our YouTube because we look like a hot ass bitch. Don't ever order shit from Amazon. Why do I look ghetto and ratchet as hell? Like, look at me. I look like Marge, like brother. Like, what the hell is going on?
What? That's what you wanted to do. So your wish has come through.
We look good though.
Yes, we do.
Now we look preposterous. That's gonna be the word of the day.
Preposterous.
Because what movie did we watch today, Carlos?
So today we watched a movie that invented false advertisement, The Bride of Frankenstein.
Hey, it didn't. It saved his ass at the very end.
For 2 minutes.
We watched The Bride of Frankenstein. If you get if you haven't seen it, it is on Shudder.
Yes.
I honestly think Shudder put that on purpose because of the Bride.
Yeah, because of the month or Valentine's month. Yeah,
because this is going to be the Horror Daddies Bride Month.
Yes, it is.
Every week we're gonna watch a Bride Month, except the week where the Texas Chainsaw Massacre comes out.
Yeah, so make sure you watch that on Netflix.
But yeah, Carlos, what did you think?
I enjoyed it for what it is, and for the time era that it came from. So I had to kind of put my eyes in that era and just think that people back in this day were scared of that, because I was like, people were really scared of this.
Yeah,
and
they had nothing. They got murder. That's all they had.
Yeah, and I don't know, the actors were annoying to me.
I mean, it's such a crazy acting. They're so dramatic. It's just such a different time.
Oh, the monster. Oh.
Yeah, people be fainting for no reason. I'm like, you need to go to the hospital if you're fainting for that. Like, what is going on with you?
But directed by James Whale, like the animal, and
you get there, monster?
I had an energy drink and I need just to let it all out. Written by William Hurlburt and John L. Balderston.
People had they had complicated ass names back in the day. Like, they did not make it easy for anybody.
I'm trying to say it correctly. And I guess it's based on a novel by Mary Shelley.
Yeah, so it's loosely based on the Mary Shelley story, which, did you catch a little Easter egg at the beginning?
That
she was named Mary, or the husband or whatever was named Shelley, Mary Shelley.
Well, his first name was Percy.
I know, but last name.
Mary
Shelley.
Yeah. I don't wait.
That's the author of Frankenstein.
Oh yes, duh. Sorry.
He just said it. He just said the name. Frankenstein. The monster needs to get it together. That's why I don't like him.
First of all, I was made out of dead bodies. It's not my fault.
Bitch. Me too. The fuck.
But yeah. Okay. So for the budget for this movie, what I found, and I'm not entirely sure if this is just with inflation included.
50 cents.
No, it's $397,000, but it only grossed $10,000. So I believe the budget's just been inflated and the gross was not. Because
that doesn't make no sense.
It doesn't make sense at all, because this did spawn like a whole bunch of other movies.
Yeah.
So, and I mean all the other Universal monsters. So Universal wanted to keep making them.
Hell yeah.
Because then we get like the Son of Frankenstein after this. So that's that box office and budget for you.
Also in IMDb it says there's 20 different writers, and so we just gave you the two that,
the first two that were mainly, and I mean I think the ones that movie actually give us
that's
the
true.
credits. But we do have Boris Karloff back as Frankenstein and Colin Clive as Henry Frankenstein again in this movie. daddy. He
already daddy of the movie.
I watched the first Frankenstein before watching this one, and I was like, ooh, mad science is kind of hot.
Yeah, he texted me. He's like, yo, he is so fine. I'm like, yeah.
He did remind me though a lot of Herbert West, and I'm only saying this because I'm pretty sure Herbert West was,
Herbert West is just like a modern take on this story.
But I only say that because I saw that first.
Oh,
but
gotcha.
Vice versa, I'm pretty sure it's the other way around.
Yeah.
And a lot of Reanimator from the first one. I just kept thinking of Reanimator watching the first Frankenstein, which I'm only saying that because I saw Reanimator first. Yes.
It's definitely an homage.
Not saying that Reanimator copied because obviously it did not.
It's just so weird because Reanimator is a fucking H.P. Lovecraft story. So I'm like, I don't know how that would work.
So Frankenstein came first.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I'm just not saying who copied who,
but
it's very similar.
Yeah, super similar.
But I guess that's why I loved Reanimator. I mean, I love Frankenstein because Reanimator was actually they were pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
But to give y'all since we haven't covered Frankenstein, just to give you a brief synopsis of what happened in Frankenstein so you guys understand this movie a little better, since if you haven't seen it. If not, go watch it. Actually, Frankenstein is only 71 minutes. It's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a short movie.
And this one's only an hour and 15. So
barely 15. It's almost like 1 hour and 10.
Yeah,
like, there's like more credits than anything.
Yeah, and if you just want to watch the birth of the bride, just to last 10 minutes. So in Frankenstein, we meet Henry Frankenstein, and he's kind of obsessed with the dead, but bringing the dead back to life. And he obviously does. He makes his monster. His monster kind of goes haywire, escapes. He murders a little girl, and the town goes after the monster.
She could have prevented that if she just stood up, because it was like a shallow ass river.
Yeah,
and she drowned. I'm like, okay, dude, come on.
And then her father dies the same way. So. Yeah, the monster kind of escapes. It's Henry's wedding day. The monster tries to kidnap Elizabeth. Henry goes after the monster. And I think the monster ends up kidnapping Henry, if I remember correctly. And then the movie basically ends with the town burning down the mill with the monster inside of it. And it ends there. And we just believe that the monster is burned alive. And then basically this movie picks up from there.
Wow, look at my eyebrows. They're nice as hell.
Oh, I just noticed you added marker to them. I thought those were. I was gonna be like, well,
bro, those are mine. Those are Sharpied in there. So if I go to work tomorrow like this, bitch, I'm crazy. Don't fuck with me. I'm gonna go with the wig too.
So you want to jump into this?
I'm ready to jump in.
So we basically open up with meeting Mary Shelley, Lord Byron, and Percy Shelley. And Byron is enjoying the thunderstorm that's happening outside. He's really admiring it. He's asking Mary if he wants to see it with him.
And they're like in this huge ass castle. Like they're like privileged when I say that.
Yeah, and then Byron starts telling the story of what happened in the country with Frankenstein or the monster. And then Mary Shelley decides to tell what happens next, which is this movie. I will say this. Because as a child, I get how do I say this, like a trick question, like who is Frankenstein the monster or the doctor? I always believed that the monster was named Frankenstein.
Yeah, everyone. It's a very popular thing, but everyone thinks that the monster's name is Frankenstein. It's always a very common thing. I think there's a comedian that says like, "Oh, my son wanted to dress up as Frankenstein," so I was like, "Okay, cool, that's awesome." He came dressed up as the monster, and I was like, "What are you dressed up as?" He's like, "Frankenstein." It's like, "No, you're wrong.
You're Frankenstein's monster."
Yeah. So it's technically just the monster.
Yeah.
So.
But we basically open the movie back at the mill, like the fire is basically going away, and there's an annoying lady named Minnie talking to Marta.
We should have said the beginning part is like this whole meta thing because Mary is the author of the Frankenstein first movie, I guess, right? Like she wrote the story of Frankenstein.
She did. It was her?
Yeah, she said she was the author and she hasn't finished it yet.
Oh, so she's telling the...
Oh. Bitch, you literally, we were watching, you were like, oh, so she wrote it. And I was like...
I don't know. I thought she just wrote the bride part.
No, so I think then she was like, well, I haven't even finished it yet. So this is... And then it fades to the movie.
Oh, so she's telling us the... Okay.
And then this is where we get a recap of like kind of what happens in the first movie.
First of all, their English is very old-fashioned.
Bro,
So for me to like
that bitch is preposterous.
I was appalled. So they're very happy. This guy named the Burger Master, he's super excited that they killed the monster.
The Burger Master. It's the Burger King dude. He's just his creepy ass, just like following everybody.
Yeah. So Minnie is this annoying lady who looks like a witch, and she's just like, "Oh, the monster's dead. We got rid of him." Blah, blah, blah.
And she has such an annoying ass voice.
Super
It's so
fucking annoying.
so high pitched, and it fucking hurts.
I fucking hated her. And then this other lady, Martha, she's like super sad about it. Minnie's like, "Why you sad? He was a monster." Ah! But everyone leaves, and Hans, who is Maria's father, the little girl that died in Frankenstein, he wants to make sure that this monster is dead. So they basically pull a Halloween Kills.
Yeah, I literally was like, Halloween Kills.
Well, Halloween Kills pulls. Let me stop.
It's a reference. But pretty much, he falls into the little pit.
Yeah, a basement of the mill.
Yeah, it's supposedly where he was going to go look for the monster, but his ass just fucking falls.
Yep.
And almost dies, which is great because it's just like a mannequin that they just throw in there. He's just hitting everything. Which, how did he survive that? But then the lady, I forgot her name.
Well, the monster shows up and drowns him.
Oh yeah, drowns him. So
he dies like his daughter.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The irony. But then the lady tries to like, hey, come back up. I'll help. I'll give you a hand. So she gives him a hand, but she's not looking. Why, I don't know. And when she turns around, it's fucking Frankenstein. She's like, ah! And he just fucking grabs her and just chucks her in there, and she just hits her way down the stairs.
He'll mannequin again, like.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna assume she dies because we don't see her ass again. And then we have Minnie's ass. Just, I don't even know why she stayed behind. I guess she's looking for Marta, but Marta's already fucking dead. And the monster just comes up behind her and like goes, "Rrr," and she goes, "Ah!" And she like takes off her coat or her little Superman fucking robe, and she just runs off into the town.
Running. It's super fast. She's like, "Oh, the monster's alive. It's alive."
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, we get it.
And they bring Henry home. Everyone thinks Henry's fucking dead. But I mean, honestly, the way the Frankenstein in the first movie chucked his ass off the mill, he should be dead. Because he hits the fucking mill. Like the fucking fan, he hits it.
Nah, that shit was soft as hell. But he also looked dead as fuck. Like,
yeah.
they have him on a stretcher, and they show his face, and he's like like
they clearly don't know how to fucking check for pulses at this time.
No, not at all.
Minnie comes running into the town, and she's trying to tell the butler, the monster's alive. He's gonna come and get y'all. And the butler's like, "Yo, can you just shut the fuck up and go inside?" And she's like, "You know what? Don't believe me. But when he comes up and kills all of y'all in y'all sleep, I told y'all so."
She gonna start dancing.
Yeah.
I told you.
And then everyone's checking up on Henry. They think he's dead, but then they kind of, I guess, like they do this thing where like it's kind of like he's the monster now, and he moves his hand, and then Minnie's like, "He's alive."
Okay, he doesn't move his hand. His fan. Okay, it was like this, and it falls to the side.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Honestly, I could have just been gravity, because I was like, okay, it was like on barely hanging in there, and it falls over. So I'm like, okay, it could just be movement from like the world, but no, immediately he's alive. Ah! They're like freaking out.
They're so dramatic in this time period.
Oh, and doesn't she faint as well?
Elizabeth faints.
Yeah,
or somebody faints.
Okay, girl, you gotta calm down.
Yeah.
Like, why are people fainting?
Oh, Henry, you're alive. Oh.
And then him from, going to a possible coma, wakes up and goes, "How you doing, babe?" Like, perfectly fine. No damage whatsoever.
So yeah, we cut to him in his room. He guess he's bed sick or sick in bed, and they're talking, and she doesn't. They're talking about life and death, and how I guess how he's like amazed by what he did, but he doesn't want to go through that again.
Yeah, and then she's kind of like, oh, she started telling like, oh, it's there, it's gonna take you, and she starts screaming.
She's having a vision.
No, she's crazy as fuck. That's
she
what
was
she
crazy,
is.
but it looked like she was having some type of vision, and she was just pointing over by the corner of the room, but they don't even show us. And she's like, "It's over there, it's over there." And she faints again.
He's like, "Bitch, where the fuck? I don't know what you're looking at."
So then we get Dr. Pretorius.
preposterous.
That's what I'm gonna call him.
Pretorius comes up.
Yeah, Dr. P.
With a fucked up haircut.
And he reminded me a lot of the doctor in Reanimator.
Yep. The
tall,
tall,
slinky, and evil.
Yeah. This man literally looks suspicious. That should be his name, Dr. Suspicious.
Yeah, because he's Doctor. So even Minnie's like, we got a queer-looking gentleman. Which, to clarify, that back in the day, that word meant strange and unusual.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know that, so I learned something new today.
Yeah.
And he wants to speak with Henry in private, and he basically wants him and Henry to have a OnlyFans collaboration because
he comes up. Can your wife leave?
Yeah.
Hey, so
he kicks him out she kicks her out real fucking quick.
Yep. And he's like, okay, so the OnlyFans, how are we gonna do this? You gonna shout me out on your Twitter? Put my link in there.
So yeah, he wants to work with Henry because he wants to probe the abilities of life and death. And he said he has creations of his own and he wants to show them to Henry.
And Frankenstein's like, you've created life as well. Mm-hmm. And he's like, bruh, you don't even know what I've created.
Yeah. So he says, well, you can come now and see my creations and we can go from there. He's just expecting Henry to just have a fucking yes. Simple yes. And Henry's kind of like hesitant about it. But they go to his place. They have a toast to their new work jointment, their collab.
Yeah, and
I'm like, did Henry even agreed?
Yeah, for real. They're like, let me get him drunk. He'll say yes eventually.
Yeah.
And Pretorius goes, do you like gin? That's my only weakness. But that'll come back later because that is definitely not his weakness.
Because he's a liar and a sociopath. So his creations that he did, which I don't know how they did this back in the 30s, which is pretty astonishing. He has little people, like little tiny miniature people that he has brought to life, and he says he created them from seed, kind of like plants, and grew them. Mm-hmm. But they're miniature people that he has in jars.
The camera's not seeing the bottom part.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That are in jars, and he has a job or a name for each one. So he's created a king, a queen, a priest, a ballerina, a mermaid, and something else.
Yeah, it's super cool how they do it because it's legitimately impressive. I do think that the black and white does help it hide a lot of the mistakes.
Yeah, because you can kind of see that as maybe like a picture or some sort of thing.
I couldn't find exactly how they did it. I've found people that think of how they did it, and I've seen this before where they pretty much record everything without them in the foreground. They create the background. What's impressive is that they do a close-up of the mini people, but you still see everyone in the background, like Dr. Petrosius.
And they're moving.
And they're moving. There's no like just solid black. Like it literally, you see movement in the back. So that's in a glass like jar.
Yeah.
So that's really impressive by itself. So what I think they did was they did everything, Dr. Petrosius, everything separately. Then each of those actors, they probably took like careful measurements and everything to make sure that everything was according to the set. And they probably filmed them from really far back and on a back background with maybe a glass container in the in between. That's what I think, to give the illusion that they're in a fucking little jar.
Okay.
And then they kind of, maybe in film, physically, they kind of put it together. Like
one in front of the other?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's possibly how they did it. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, green screens were invented in 1940s, around there. Like the idea of green screens, not necessarily just green screen.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So after Frankenstein sees the creation, he's kind of like amazed by it. And there's this whole metaphor that Dr. P references, like, oh, well, you created man, and then I want to create basically the woman, but it's kind of like how humanity, came to be, but I want another kind of humanity, but created by man. Yeah. So it's like Frankenstein is God, and then the monster and the woman he wants to make is like Adam and Eve. And he kind of wants after that to see. I don't know if he wanted them to populate like that. Yeah. But that's kind of what he was referencing to. That he wants Frankenstein God, and then he's too little. His Adam and Eve monster to basically grow another kind of human.
Which it's something that Frankenstein or the monster has always been. I feel like the monster has been kind of like a metaphor for Jesus, in a way where he's not necessarily like that, like the opposite. Like he's kind of like opposite Jesus, where like instead of being the savior, he needs saving, and he is very kind to people, but people reject him. And unlike Jesus, like everyone praised him. He's also like born unnaturally, so it's considered sinful and evil and stuff like that. This movie does have a lot of things that people kind of see as like LGBT subtext,
gay undertones.
Yeah, like gay undertones. Well, even just the idea of the LGBT. So give me 1 second. All right, sorry, we had technical difficulties, but pretty much they had like gay undertones. And there is something called queer film study or theory, which pretty much is the idea that pretty much LGBTQ ideas from the very beginning of time have influenced, society as a whole. And this movie does have a lot of tones because, surprisingly, I didn't know this, but James Whale was actually openly gay. Okay. By this time, 1930s, bro. Like, that was like a dangerous time. Like, that must have been horrific. And it's like, even though the monster isn't necessarily like he is supposed to be gay, I think he's supposed to be like what gay people kind of go through. The idea that nobody accepts him. Every time they see him, they immediately see a monster because he is not normal. He's not what society deems as okay. Yeah. He is supposed to be unnatural. And so they immediately reject him when all he really means is he wants to be accepted and be just one of them. It's just, and technically he is, because he just, unfortunately, he had like a different, birth or anything than everyone else. So I think that's one of the ideas. Also, I feel like a messaging is that Pretorius, whatever his name is, Pretorius and Dr. Frankenstein, there's both men creating life together, which it could be a little messaging of like, hey, get a little, and is it really like a stretch to say, since James Whale was also gay? Yeah. Like, is it really far-fetched to think that way? Also, Pretorius, made-up character, completely original. He is not based on Mary Shelley's character at all. So there has to be a reason why he added him. And he also comes in, and the wife, he wants nothing to do with the wife. Yeah. Like, so I feel like it is kind of it is something that we should think about, and it influences a lot in society.
In the Frankenstein movie, I kind of see as Henry creating the monster for himself, kind of like, because I don't know, in the wedding day, he seemed unsure to marry her. Yeah, and I was kind of like, huh. So you created your man, for you, which I was like, ooh, let me make one. And he made him the way he wanted him, like his
the perfect figure
creation for him. So yeah, I mean, I see it. So good for him.
Yeah. Oh, we don't have it up.
It's okay.
Yeah, we don't have the soundboard, but
yeah. So that's that scene, and then we go back to see what the monster's fucking doing for this movie.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true.
He's just loose, and we don't know where he's at right now.
It was literally like 30 minutes without him, and I mean a whole 2 hours without the bride.
We won't speak about that. So he's like down a waterfall. He's eating fruits or something that he found or something, and he runs up on these lambs, and then he sees the waterfall. He starts drinking water, and then we see Mary had a little lamb, and she sees the monster.
Little Bo Peep is in the back over there.
She sees the monster, and instead of running, she like falls over the small cliff into the water. So he saves her. He's doing good.
Yeah, he's doing good. But
no, she fucking freaks the fuck out when she opens her eyes, and then Frankenstein gets shot by these two random men that come and see him. Then he runs away. They go snitch on his ass. They go to the town, be like, Burgermaster, we found the man, the monster.
And they're like, where? He's like, over here. And then they all fucking grab pitchforks and fucking torches, and they're like, let's fucking go get his ass.
1939. Let the police and civilization deal with the fucking criminal. So they go and they jump his ass in the woods, and they basically crucify him. They put him up on this log. They take him over to the town. They put him in this dungeon jail. But Frankenstein's like, oh, hey, y'all thought. Escapes.
It took not even a second. They're like, keep an eye on him. He's going to get out. And everyone's like, shut the fuck up, you crazy.
Yep. He just breaks his chains and beats everyone up in his way.
Grabs the door, literally like, He like tosses it. Like he does not care.
And as he's running through the town, anyone in his way, he's fucking whooping their ass. And literally hashtag evil dies tonight because the fucking town is running away from him. But I'm like, that's Michael Myers and Haddonfield.
You know, back in the day, it was like evil perishes tonight, thy night. Evil perishes thy night.
And I guess he attacked a woman off screen. We didn't see it.
Yeah, no, we don't know. A lot of things happen off screen in this movie.
And Minnie's freaking out, running around, sounding like a fucking witch, and I hate her. But yeah, that happens, and then there's these people camping out in the woods, and they're like, "Oh, we fear there's monsters out here," and the dad's like, "I don't worry about it." Frankenstein shows up and attacks them because he's hungry, and they're cooking a turkey or a chicken, but he's scared of fire, and it's over a fire, so he doesn't get to eat it. And he's like, "Arr," because he super hates fire. We learned that in the first one.
Yeah, I mean, he was attacked by people with fire, so...
Well, so Frankenstein had a henchman named Fritz, and he would taunt Frankenstein with fire. And spoiler alert, he ends up murdering Fritz, which is really funny because I'm like, that's what you get for fucking with him.
What comes around, comes around,
comes
around.
Frankenstein is a victim.
Yeah, he is. He just wants to be loved.
Right. So then he goes off into the woods and he comes upon this house of a hermit.
Wes Craven looking ass.
He does look like Wes Craven. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, and he's playing the violin, all beautiful.
I think he was playing Ave Maria.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's perfect.
So the monster comes in and the hermit is blind, so he doesn't see him.
Yeah.
But the hermit basically is lonely and he prays to God that God send them a friend, which is the monster. They basically become good friends.
Yeah, and it's like a messaging. It's like he doesn't even know the person and he already accepts him. He pretty much loves this person, even though he just met him. He's just kind of like, you're just a kind soul. Like, he could have hurt him. He could have taken advantage. And who knows, like, if this backstory is that he's been taken advantage of, and that's why he's kind of, like, by himself, because he feels safer. But as soon as the monster gets there, he accepts him at his home, feeds him, he teaches him, and he, like, prays over him while he's asleep. Like, and the monster, you see that he's really unsure of him. Like, he's kind of like, whoa, like, why? Yeah. He even like kind of threatens him. He's like he goes, "Rah!" And the hermit doesn't do anything. So he's like, oh shit, he likes me. Like he's cool.
We don't know how much time passes, but then they like cut to fade to black, and now they're like hanging out. They're eating together. Frankenstein starts speaking now words like bread, good, bad. He smokes now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, bro. The hermit was getting high, bro. He is like, all right, monster, you gotta try this shit.
Yeah.
And honestly, this could be kind of like the Last Supper meal.
Oh yeah.
Because you know what happens later. But this is kind of like the Jesus metaphor that they were thinking. He gets crucified, or it's like a symbolism of the crucifixion. And then this one could be considered the Last Supper kind of deal.
Okay, I see that.
And he starts, the monster becomes friends with the hermit, and they're hanging out, having a good old time. They're boys. Yep. They're out here smoking, drinking wine. Oh, bread, wine. Yeah. And yeah, they're just having a good old time.
But these two lost ass motherfuckers come into the house like, hey, sir, we lost. Oh, shit, the monster. And they just start shooting up the place.
Yeah, for real. Like, that's not even your home, bro.
Right. And Frankenstein freaks out. He starts whooping their ass, but he starts a fire on accident. They take the hermit away. Frankenstein runs away. He scares some kids, but he runs off into the woods. We don't ever know what happens to the hermit after that. I guess he's taken into the country town, whatever. He
disappears.
And Frankenstein's running through like a graveyard. He knocks down this tombstone, and then he goes down in it. I guess there were stairs. I don't know how he knew, or if it was an accident. I'm not sure of how this happened, but then there's a body down there that he opens the casket.
Yeah, because they're in the catacombs.
Yeah, like a catacombs.
And it so happened to be the same graveyard or catacombs that Frankenstein and Pretorius.
It's not Frankenstein's not there.
Oh, I thought Frankenstein was the third person.
Dr. P had two minions.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. So Pretorius finds a 19-year-old girl that died, and then they open it, and she is completely skeletons. And they're like...
She wasn't she?
Yeah, because he was like, oh, hopefully her skeletons are completely firm. And he kind of like laughs it off, which I didn't get. I was like, kind of like, won't you need like a whole body, bro? Like, what the fuck?
Wasn't that the head he was playing with that he was smoking to?
I have no clue. I literally just saw a skeleton.
Okay, I don't know what happens here. But I'm assuming they take the body, which if it was skeleton, then I don't know where the skin for the bride came from.
Bro, I don't know either.
Maybe that was a mistake on their part, but he stays behind at the tomb and he's smoking and drinking over the casket.
He's having a good old time. He just wanted to hang out.
Talking to like a skull, and then Frankenstein shows up behind him, and Dr. P's not scared of him. I think he knows who he is.
What's up, motherfucker?
Yeah.
And he's just like, food.
So he kind of takes him under his wing and, teaches him more words. And this is
I
when...
just imagine he was like, all right, say fuck you. And he's like, fuck you.
They talk a little bit about Henry. And so then Dr. P goes to visit Henry. And he kicks out the wife again.
I was like, bitch, I told you about my OnlyFans. Why you didn't show up? And he's like, oh, man, I changed my mind. I don't want to do the OnlyFans. And he's like, I know how to change your mind. He's like, nothing will.
Oh, God. Add a third.
Yeah. Pretty much he goes, wow. And Frank and the monster shows up. He's like mad, like just standing there like this. And all strong and big. And he walks up and he's like, what up? What up, Frankenstein?
But yeah, so this is when the monster takes kind of like power, and it's like Henry used it.
Yep.
Because Henry used to do that to him in the first movie.
Yeah, Henry thought he was dead this whole time, so he sees them for the first time again, and he's like, "Ah, shit, he's back." And then he goes like this. He goes like he puts his hands up and he goes, "Sit down."
Treats him like a dog.
Yeah,
which good for him. But this is when Henry's like, or Dr. P's like, I know how to convince you, and is basically using the monster to convince him. But then he's like, if I can't convince you, I'll convince you some other way. So what happens is that when the monster leaves, he goes and sneaks into Elizabeth's room, his wife, and he takes her hostage.
Yeah, like, damn, like, what the hell? You really got to go to kidnapping after that?
I see it as, if I can't have Henry, neither can you.
Yeah.
So he takes her hostage. Henry basically says, I'll help you. So he goes back to the castle where Frankenstein was created, his laboratory, and he's helping Dr. P basically bring the bride. The heart that they have is not good enough, so they need a new heart, which I find it so funny that he sends his minion Carl to get a heart. Yeah. And Dr. P knows what he's going to do, but Dr. Henry does not.
He's like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah. Because he tells him it has to be freshly dead. Like, like just dead. Wink, wink. And he's like, I gotcha.
So he goes into town and finds a lonely girl and murders her.
Just literally just minding her own business, just gets killed. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And honestly, back in the day, that's it. That's all you got to do. And you those cops saw you, you got away with it. Yeah. Like, that's just how it was. There was no science and shit. You were just dead.
It's crazy. And Dr. Henry's like, where'd you get this heart? And Carl looks at Dr. P and goes,
Wish? Wish.com.
I got it. I think he says a word, but I think I guess nowadays it's called the morgue.
Oh, gotcha.
Because he says something about a policeman.
It's a police case or something. Yeah, he goes, it was a police case. And they're like, okay, weirdo. All right, whatever.
So the monster, I think this is when the monster comes back. And then Henry does not want to work anymore. And the monster's like, no, you gonna work till you finish this because I want my bride. Yeah. And Dr. Henry's like, get rid of him and I'll keep working. So Dr. P fucking roofies the monster.
Yeah, like, this poor monster just wanted to have fun, just smoke a little bit. Yeah. Nope, he gives him some alcohol, whatever, adds something on top right in front of his face. Like, he wasn't even chill. He doesn't
know any better, yeah.
And he goes, here you go, buddy.
And puts him right to sleep. I was like, oh.
So disrespectful.
This is when Dr. Henry's like, hey, let me at least know that Elizabeth is alive. So I didn't know that phones were a thing.
Okay,
I should Google my history.
We should have paid more attention to history class.
But these phones were a fucking giant shoebox.
Yep.
Electrical giant shoebox. I don't know how they worked, but they call each other, but they have to be close. So that's how you know they didn't have long distance back then. And I don't know if they had even minutes.
Kiss me through the phone, but you gotta be at least 20 meters forward. But Also, we didn't know that light bulbs were a thing too, because everybody just had candles.
Okay, I think they were. Yeah, the castle. I was like, didn't they have light bulbs already by that time?
Like, I don't know. All I see is just candles. There was no light bulbs.
Light bulbs were invented in 1979.
Yeah, there you go.
No, sorry, not 19.
It's 18.
1879. Thank you, but they're gonna think I'm stupid because we're talking about a 39 movie.
Fine.
So the heart is ready to be placed in the bride, so they place it in her. And then this is when they start working all the laboratory stuff, all the electrical stuff. They send down this big old thing. They have these kites over the castle.
It is so extra. Because it's like you said, Frankenstein was like, all right, motherfucker, go up there.
Yeah.
Do your thing. And no, they had like 2 kites. Then she had like these 2 giant balls that were around her. And then like rings that came down. Then they lift her up really slowly.
Yeah, but and she's already getting electrocuted like with the lightning. But then they throw her up in the roof.
And she was completely wrapped as well, like completely from head to toe with metal plates on her head.
And then Frankenstein, I guess, is awoken. He goes up into the roof and he attacks the minions. He sends one off the castle, which is really funny.
And like a mannequin again, just flies T-posing.
Yes. So he kills Carl, the minion, and then the storm's over. They bring her down. She moves her hand. They unwrap her eyes, and
it's like they're like, they make a big deal where she just opens her eyes and they're like beautiful eyes.
Yeah, and this is when Henry Frankenstein says his famous, she's alive, or it's alive.
Yep, and they do that a lot in this movie.
Yeah,
it's like a little callback,
which I'm like, okay, we get it. It was done in the first one.
we can stop.
The it's alive is the evil dies tonight for Halloween.
Evil perishes thy nights. But pretty much they unwrap her, but it's like they fade into her completely, like with her little white dress and everything.
Okay, I have something to say.
Yes,
her hair is frizzy because she got electrocuted.
Oh, hell yeah! Look, no, because she got this bitch from Amazon. That shit was false advertisement.
Her hair is like all up, and you can tell it's like in Home Alone when the villain gets electrocuted, his hair goes up. That's what happened to her.
And she had the white stripes.
But my thing is, she was all wrapped around. Where did all that hair come from?
They did magical
Unless
things
they really did have a wig and they put it on her.
They're like, hey, I'm sorry, I forgot. Well, I mean, they couldn't find a cadaver with hair. I feel like that would kind of fall off.
I mean, eventually, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, yes, I did see it was a skeleton, which I think it was a mistake because I'm like, then where did the skin come from?
Yeah, and she was like stitched all over the face.
So I'm pretty sure she had her hair. So she's alive. This is when Dr. P says, the Bride of Frankenstein.
Which, okay, I gotta say, so it's the doctor's bride?
Yeah, I guess Henry did most of the work. Because that's the thing. So Dr. P's thing, I guess, is creating those miniature people from seed. Yeah. But Dr. Henry's thing is bringing the dead to life. So I'm saying, like, the thing is Dr. P's giving him the credit because that's how he knows. Oh. Like Herbert, like in Reanimator, that's his thing, bringing people to life. Yeah. So this is like Henry's thing. Okay. Dr. P's thing is the seed part. It's just that he wanted him to create woman so they can do like the whole God reference of Adam and Eve.
Okay. So, because I was like, okay, it's called Bride of Frankenstein, but this is a mate for the monster. So when the title is Bride of Frankenstein, it's more like it's his work. Instead of his own wife. Yeah. Because I thought it was like...
And that's the confusing part. It's like, that's why it's like Frankenstein is it's not the monster, it's the doctor. Yeah. You would think it's the monster. That's why the whole confusion, people call the monster Frankenstein, but it's technically Henry. And yeah. Okay. Like the third movie is called The Son of Frankenstein. Yeah. And it's not that the monster has a kid, it's that the doctor has a kid. And it's 25 years into the future. Gotcha. That's what and then I guess the kid is also like his father and tries to bring the monster. Blah blah blah. Gotcha. So yeah, she seems to have, kind of like when a baby wakes up for the first time, like an animal baby, and they see the first thing they see, they think it's the mother. She's kind of like that with Henry. So the monster does end up coming back down, and she sees him, and she's fucking scared. Like, she screams at the monster, who he gets offended by, and she just runs towards Henry, and she's very attached to Henry at this point.
Because he's so fine. I don't blame her. Yeah. Don't blame me.
But the monster's very sad about it. She's like, "You not friend, don't want to be my friend."
Yeah, because he's
And,
like, yeah, and then he goes over and like touches her hands, and she's just kind of like looking at him like, what the fuck?
Because they kind of promised him that, hey, we're making a friend for you, but now she doesn't want to be his friend, so he's very offended.
And he instantly goes like, wife, wife, and like he's like, wow, a possible future with her, pretty much.
Elizabeth shows up to Henry to save him, and then this Frankenstein's already very offended, so he starts wrecking down the place.
Yeah,
and he's about to blow up this place. I guess he turns on the electrical power, and it overfuses.
Yeah, he pretty much tells Frankenstein like, get out of here.
You live, I die.
Yeah, I stay. And then he looks at Preterius and goes, you stay. And then pretty much just presses the self-destruct button because this bitch, a whole entire place just blows up.
And this is when he says, we belong dead.
Yep. And then he dies. He kind of, well, I mean, presumably.
I do like that he killed Dr. P because he knew that he was the evil one. In all this, and Frankenstein was kind of the victim.
Yeah. Because you could tell, like, there was a lot of tension between them because, I mean, this motherfucker literally had no options. Like, he got his wife kidnapped. Like, the monster was about to kill his ass. Like, he kind of just got put in a really bad situation. He just wanted to go and get married, and that's it.
And I'm like, damn, another movie, and this monster just can't get a break.
No. Sorry.
But that's pretty much the end of the movie.
Yeah,
because
it just fades
castle, the castle breaks down. Elizabeth and Henry make it out alive. They look over, and it just fades to black.
Yeah.
Their whole thing was to move out of the country, and in the third one we find out that they did.
They actually did. Gotcha. Yeah, but I have to say, in the credits, the bride is not credited.
Nope.
Which is so weird.
It says the monster's bride. ... Question mark.
Yeah, like like what the fuck happened?
She just walked in. They're like, hey, I'm here for the movie. Shoot me. Oh, we're done. What's your name, ma'am? Don't worry about it.
See ya. Bye. But okay, guys, if you know anything, please leave it in the comments because I tried looking up like why she's not credited, and I'm pretty sure Mary from the beginning of the movie is the person that plays the bride.
It looks like her.
It looks like her. She got the eyebrows and shit. Like, she got the eyebrows, and I don't understand. Like, why wasn't she credited at all?
And if it's her, it's Elsa Lanchester.
Yeah, so
if it's her,
I don't understand that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know why she's not credited. I guess not to confuse people if they see two. How do I say it? Like two characters with the same actress. I don't know if people back in the day just didn't see that as or believe. Because you know how sometimes people get recasted or not recasted. But,
it's like if Eddie Murphy's like movies where he was like every character. They just said question mark.
I feel like people back then wouldn't understand that and they wouldn't like that maybe.
I don't know. But I was like thinking maybe like it's like a surprise. Like maybe she was like a big deal back in the day and it was like. Or
maybe they're making us believe that she was actually created as a monster.
Maybe. I don't know.
More scary.
That shit had me really intrigued because I was like, why is she not credited at all? Like that is so weird to me. But let us know, guys, in the comments because that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that was Bride. I mean, I was very kind of like when I figured out, I was like, wow, she's only in there for 2 minutes. What a false advertisement of a movie.
Yeah, it literally felt like a last minute, like, oh shit, we forgot to put her in there. Anyways, this
should have been the adventures of Frankenstein, the Frankenstein monster.
I feel like
because he went on an adventure.
He literally did. Honestly, it would have been interesting that they already had her body pieces already created. They created her at the beginning because I would be interested to see
how the story unfolds with her around.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting.
But we have seen Bride of Reanimator before, and we're like, why is she at the end?
Yeah,
because spoiler, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
And I was like, okay, so they literally did the same thing they did here. Unlike Bride of Chucky, where Tiffany shows up in the beginning, they learned their lesson.
And it's like it's just super interesting to me, and like maybe it's like a message that we're not getting, but I was like, I don't understand. Like, she's there for just no time at all. People do say that this is kind of like ironic because they're creating a mate for the monster, and it's like the mate doesn't even like him. Yeah. So it's like kind of like an ironic kind of take. But I don't know. I mean, it's entertaining. I think it's a really great piece of history. Yeah. And I feel everyone that likes horror movies should go back and watch it because honestly, I was very impressed by this movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it is. Will I rewatch it again? Probably not for a
Possibly
long
not.
time.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those movies where I just it's very slow. It's for its time.
Mm-hmm.
If I end up rewatching it, it probably won't be for another few years. So that's that. But yeah, you guys should honestly watch it. I think it's important part of history.
Yeah.
It has influenced a lot of other movies to
Oh
you know
yeah.
their own versions of this. So
I mean, Chucky by itself, like that's like.
which now that I'm thinking about it, like yeah, we did get the Bride of Chucky and in we got Bride of Frankenstein. After the Bride, we do get the Son of Frankenstein, which if you think about it,
Oh,
Don
Glenn.
Mancini basically did the same thing where Chucky gets his bride and then after that he gets his son.
Yeah.
So
Don Mancini just loves Frankenstein very much, and you can tell.
yeah, which I mean I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy Frankenstein a lot just because I do love Reanimator and
You
it
can tell the
reminded me a lot
influence.
of it. Yeah, you can see the influence of Frankenstein in Reanimator a lot. So yeah, check it out and honestly let me know who is your favorite Universal monster from these, and if you do have a favorite Frankenstein movie, because I know there's like a few. Which one is your favorite? I will say the Son of Frankenstein wasn't interesting me enough
Okay.
compared to these two.
Yeah, I know there's
Um,
eventually Young Frankenstein. I think that's in the 90s, if
I
I'm not
think,
mistaken.
and then the one after the Son, it's the House, which a House of Frankenstein, which I think the Wolfman is in it too.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So I kind of want to see that collaboration.
Damn, that shit is like Endgame. But
Freddy versus Jason.
but right now we're gonna be reading our reviews because we
Yeah.
would say what's your favorite kill, but there's like nothing really.
My favorite kill is Marta when she gets chucked down the stairs in the beginning.
Yeah, that's very true. That's a good one.
Um,
Do you want to read your review first?
Yeah, so my 5-star review would be astonishing what this movie pulled off in the 30s. Incredible, the bride is stunning, just wish she had more screen time.
Okay, yeah, and I can agree with that. My 5-star review says e-girl and her podcaster boyfriend. Because she's the e-girl because she kind of looks like a little emo-ish and, and the boyfriend is the outcast of podcaster. And I'm like, relatable because I feel like my perfect girl needs to be built and sent to the skies with lightning. And I'm like, she doesn't even like me. And
Hey,
I'm
maybe,
like, fuck.
maybe one day you can create one.
Yeah, maybe.
My 1-star, iconic look, God weren't, whoa.
You okay there, Frankenstein?
Well,
or monster?
they wrote this, not me. Iconic look, but God weren't those some of the but God, like they forgot their pronunciations or whatever, their commas.
Read it again from to start.
1, 2, 3, take 2. Iconic look, but God weren't those some of the most annoying characters ever created.
Which I can
Yes.
definitely agree.
Jesus, these people annoyed the fuck out of me.
Fainting, screaming,
Yeah.
nosy as hell. Oh my god, they need to mind their own
Except
business.
the hermit.
Yeah,
I like the hermit because he was super kind.
because he was blind, bro. He couldn't mind he had to mind his business. That's all he had.
God, John,
I'm just saying, he couldn't do anything.
that's mean.
I'm sorry. Any viewers of ours, I'm sorry.
That's so mean. Please don't cancel us.
No, please. So my 1-star review is a quote. Hey babe, you want to go out with me? Her, ew, no. Blows up castle, killing everyone in it. Typical male reaction. Which I can agree.
I've seen that happen in person.
Blowing up a whole castle?
No, but someone breaking up with someone in front of me and them having a real breaking everything in their sight. Anyways, that's not for this today. So yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty much the entire movie, guys.
my daddy is Henry.
Yeah, Henry. I love the bride though.
Mm-hmm.
She is fine.
And dead.
Yeah, bro, that's another thing, bro. Everybody's dead in this movie. Everyone is dead. It is so weird to think about that.
Oh, like in real life? Yeah, I mean, obviously it was
Yeah.
1939.
Yeah, but it's just so weird to put that into perspective, being like, wow, none of these people are alive. Like, that is so wild to me.
I think the little girl in the first movie died in 93.
Jesus.
Yeah. So everyone before that who was a lot older than her,
Yeah.
like 50s, we were done.
Yeah, that's so it's so crazy to just think about that idea that they're just not in our
It's
world
like
anymore.
it's like I mean, this movie was what 1939. So whoever is making movies now would by 2060 on will start to die.
Yeah.
Actors that we know now.
Yeah, that's so weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a weird thing to think about, but it's so interesting. It's just the fact that this movie was ever even made, impressive. Even the set design and everything is kind of impressive. Like, also the lighting, I love the like black and white, because like everything happens to be lit perfect. Like all the characters, you can see them. The shadows aren't too dark. The light is not overexposed. Like it just seems to have like a perfect balance to it. Like, and I don't know if you noticed, but Frankenstein's wife, like she was almost like glowing. Like she's supposed to be like this beautiful, person. So like they kind of make the light kind of make her glow, and it's kind of interesting. It's super interesting.
And she's dressed in white like a bride.
Yep. But and again, guys, it is on Shudder. Sponsor us, please. And it's there if you guys really want to watch it. I don't know how long it's gonna be there, but definitely go check it out. And Frankenstein is also there, right?
All the first 4.
Okay, so there you go.
Frankenstein, Bride, Son, and House.
Yeah, so I would give you a commercial Shudder, but you have to sponsor us first. But go watch it. But yeah, guys, if you guys did enjoy the episode, please leave a comment, like on YouTube. Also check out Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can leave a review or whatever. And then all our social medias is at Horror Daddies on literally everything. Todito. And then check out our merch store, which is going to be in the description down below. HorrorDaddyStores.merch or HorrorDaddy'sMerch.stores.
Yeah.
There you go. But it's first link down below. And next week, what are we watching, Carlos?
So next week we are watching The Bride of Chucky.
Ooh, which I'm excited.
Super excited for it. So cannot wait to see Jennifer Tilly again and again. I mean, I watch it all the time.
That's the 4th movie?
Yes.
So okay, I know we skipped we haven't watched the 3rd one on the podcast, but kind of like it's fine. We watched it and we're like, we can skip it. Like
for now.
Yeah.
We'll get back to it.
But it's just to keep it in the theme.
Yeah.
We'll do it this time. But guys, if you enjoyed, again, like I said, leave a like and comment.
Yep. And remember,
we belong dead.
Which was my line in the movie, not yours. See you in your dreams. Mwah.